The second watch is from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. So now remember, you've come home, you've shed all of that nasty work off, you've restored your kids because you know they could have had a bad day, they could have gone through something. Anybody. So you've interceded and you've helped restore people in your family. You've given them something for use. Like for instance, let's just say your child was bullied at school. I don't know, because they didn't get something correct. Now you have to rebuild and restore your child. So God is also using you to remind your child that you are the daughter of a king. You know, God goes before you. Don't worry about what people say. So that is that time from 6 to 9 p.m. where you're shedding the day's work, you're interceding, you're restoring, and you're making provision. So dedicate 15 to 30 minutes a day, just praying, intercession, restoration, and provision. But now that you've done that, the second watch of the night is from 9 to 12 a.m. This is the watch of revelation, spiritual knowledge, and spiritual knowledge and insight and supplication. So earlier, my husband was right. I was in the bed and I'd be so sleepy. Y'all know I go to bed at 7:45. But I always feel the need to, this is when I'm inspired to write and I get all these ideas. You ask him, I bring 1,000 books to bed. I got this binder. I don't know if y'all can see it. I be bringing this big old binder to bed because I get in bed and I'm like, I'm ready to work. I'm sleepy, but I'm ready to work. That's not by coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
9 to 12 a.m. is the watch of revelation. Revelation is the way in which God reveals himself to us. So he's downloading into us. He's freed us of the day's troubles from 6 to 9. And now he's imparting in us spiritual knowledge. He's giving us insight. He's giving us supplication and revelation. Revelation is the way in which he reveals himself. Spiritual knowledge is unattainable through human intellect. You can read all the books you want, but there is nothing like knowing stuff you don't know how you know it. You just be like, I'm just smart. That's that God smart. It is given as revelation and it leads us in all truth. Insight is a deep understanding of a person or a thing. Supplication, the action of asking or begging for something earnestly or humbly. So think about insight. So for all my ADHD people who are on the call and you get in the bed and you be like, dang, you know, I'm an educator, so I have to use my education stuff. You be like, dang, I should have told that parent. It's like it all starts coming back to you. That's that insight and knowledge that you're getting. It would have worked better had we done this. Tomorrow, you're in bed and you're supposed to be asleep, but you thinking about, now tomorrow, I'm going to go in and I'm going to tell these teachers to do X, Y, Z. Tomorrow, I'm going to get on the call with this customer and I'm going to make sure I do a certain thing. I was talking to Nicole and I talked to her. She has the privilege of working from home. This might be,
Hallelujah.
and I listen to her sometimes on her calls. And one of the things that she said to me when I was trying to mimic the call, because I talked to her enough where I know it's 833-534-56 some. I'm supposed to know the number, right? And I get on this call, but she says, when I talk to this set of customers, that's when I repeat the phone number twice because it's their first call. And when I'm calling, when it's a repeat person that I'm calling back, I just say the number once. Like that's that insight and revelation that they don't teach you to do when you get the job. That's not a part of the training. That's that spiritual knowledge that only God can give. You just sitting up and you like, they knew I need to say the number twice so I can get them back. Oh, I've called this person 2 or 3 times. They know the number. They probably don't even. So you get that knowledge and you get that insight and you know how to enact. So the second watch of the night is 9 to 12 p.m. That's when God is just downloading information. Now you remembering the day, you remembering conversations with parents, you remember arguments you have with your mama. You know how you have an argument, you walk away and you be like, I should have told her shoes ugly. And you be trying to you be trying to figure out how to fit that back into the day, because you're starting to get that revelation. Now, don't use the Lord for evil, but I want to relate. But this is the second watch. And it says in Exodus 11, 1 through 4, it was the death of the firstborn. If you know anything about Exodus, this is when Moses is trying to get the children of Israel from Pharaoh. Let my people go. And so this is the final plague where God is like, you know what? I will bring one more plague on Pharaoh and on Egypt. Afterwards, he will let you go from here. And when he lets you go, he will surely drive you out of here altogether. Speak now in the hearing of the people, and let every man ask from his neighbor and every woman from her neighbor articles of silver and articles of gold. And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Moreover, the man Moses was very great in the land of Egypt, in the sight of Pharaoh's servants and in the sight of the people. Then Moses said, thus says the Lord, about midnight I will go out into the midst of Egypt. So at midnight, God had a plan, and that's the third watch, because he's getting ready to kill. He's about to bring a plague that's going to kill all the firstborn sons. But what he is doing is downloading revelation and spiritual knowledge into Moses, because Moses is about to go and talk to the Israelites and tell them how to protect their firstborn sons. He's going to tell them to kill a lamb and put blood on the doorposts. So from 9 to 12 p.m. is when you get that spiritual insight. You remember all of the things because your spirit is settled and you're clear because God has restored you, and now he's downloading into you instruction. It is not by happenstance you get in the bed and you get all of this instruction. And it makes you want to work, but God is speaking and he is giving you revelation and knowledge, and he is letting you know what's coming and what you need to do. So remember, at 9 to 12, this is the time where you're going to sit and ask God 15 to 30 minutes of you praying and asking God to give you revelation, spiritual knowledge, and insight. If you are doing something in your daily life and you're not sure how to proceed forward, this is the time to ask God to reveal what you need to do. If you feel like there's somebody in your life that's not quite right, you need to ask God, show me who these people are. Let me know how to proceed forward. Take them out of my life if I don't need them in my life. If there's something holding me back, this is the opportunity. But remember, from the purpose and power of prayer, he doesn't always answer immediately. And it doesn't always look the way you want. So you are praying for 15 to 30 minutes for that insight and that instruction, but know that you have to be in right relationship so you can hear how to proceed forward. And so when we talk about supplication, it's the action of asking or begging for something earnestly or humbly. So Jesus, it says in Matthew verse 26, or chapter 26, and Jesus went down with his disciples to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to them, sit here while I go over there and pray. He took Peter and the two sons of Zebedee along with him, and he began to be sorrowful and troubled. Then he said to them, my soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me. Watch and pray. Going a little farther, he fell with his face to the ground and prayed, my Father, if it is possible, may this cup be taken from me. Yet not as I will, but your will. Then he returned to his disciples and found them sleeping. Couldn't you men keep watch with me for 1 hour? He asked Peter. Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. He went away a second time and prayed, my Father, if it is not possible for this cup to be taken away unless I drink it, may your will be done. When he came back again, he found them sleeping because their eyes were heavy. So he left them and went away once more and prayed a third time, saying the same thing. Then he returned to the disciples and said to them, are you still sleeping and resting? Look, the hour has come, and the Son of Man is delivered into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us go. Here comes my betrayer. This passage is God revealing his plan. Well, Fawn, I'm gonna need you to talk on that.
Okay, so when we look at this, we look at the begging and all of that stuff when he went to the Garden of Gethsemane, how the Lord was overwhelmed with the burden of what he was about to carry, all of the sins and different things like that. And so begging and pleading for God if this cup could pass and all of that stuff. This was that moment. And so when we look at that, when we do have the burdensome moments, and right before the midnight hour comes, because of midnight comes trouble. So right before that, really, begging and earnestly, if Lord, if this can pass from me and all that, your will be done, of course, but just as Jesus was, let it go by if it can, because I'm kind of text here. But I also want to point out in this Matthew 26 to 36, when we look at the piece, it says, couldn't you keep watch with me for 1 hour? And it's giving us a hint. This is a mystery, one of the mysteries of God that he's revealing. He went to them 3 times, and he went to them in hour intervals. And so that's 3 hours. And so we're looking at what's actually going on each hour. We're looking at 9 to 10, 10 to 11, and 11 to 12. Well, what happened right at 12 o'clock, that troublesome hour, after the last watch, when he told them, can't you keep watch with me and all that? After that last one, that's when they came to take Jesus.
Yeah.
And so the Bible is actually confirming what's going on in these hours in this passage, and why it's critical to get your stuff together before the midnight hour, because at that hour does come warfare, comes trouble.
Yes, it does.
Oh, thank you for that revelation.